Hello and welcome. My name is Maggie Rose Cunningham. I'm the founder of maggieandrose.com, and today I'm going to be talking to you about self-healing with your sun rune. So the first thing that I want to say is that all runes, and we're working with the Elder Futhar, which is the 24 rune system. It's the oldest of all the rune alphabets. And all of those 24 runes offer healing. We can work with them for healing. So you can say, which rune do I need to work with today? And you can draw a rune here, got my Kina's rune here, and then you can work with that rune for healing, assuming that you know how to work with it for healing. But there is something very special about working with our sun rune. So we have 14 birth runes, but the sun rune is always the one that I recommend you start with first. Your sun rune is calculated by the position that the sun was in the runic wheel at the time that you were born. And it works to align with your soul's essence. It resonates energetically with you. It draws you back into you when you've been maybe like veering off course, maybe following what other people have told you what to do in your life. And you go, hold on, who am I? What am I supposed to be doing? And it also works to cleanse energies that have got stuck in your energy body, emotions from other people, energies from toxic environments, all of those sorts of things, because it brings you back into resonance with yourself. So it's a really powerful rune to work with, to know your sun rune and to work with it. For those of you who are interested in runic astrology and you'd like to know that house as well, a sun rune can be nice to work with because the sun travels through all 24 runes through the course of every year. So we know that it's coming up and we can work out, okay, during whenever your birthday is, you'll be in the zone of your sun rune during that time. So it's a really nice and powerful time, particularly to work with your sun rune around the time of your birthday. Having said that, let's talk a little bit more about the sun rune. So the sun rune brings, I think about it as connecting us with our heroic purpose, like our soul's purpose. And I've talked about our energetic and an essence. For those of you who know about Northern tradition's soul law, it connects us with the Valkyria, which is not the same as a Valkyrie. There's some crossover. These are divine maidens, for want of a better word, going out and doing the will of the gods out there in the world. And the Valkyria connects us with our divine essence, is another way that you can look at it. So our sun rune brings us back into connection with the part of the soul that is the Valkyria, the part that we might say is the eternal part that travels from one lifetime to a next, the rest of our soul complex attaches itself to, is quite a nice way of thinking about it. Okay, so if you do not know what your sun rune is yet, I'm going to give you a tool that you can use, that you can find out what your sun rune is, where you go to find out more about what your sun rune is. But once you know what your sun rune is, there are some steps that you can take to start working with it. So the first thing you're going to want to know is, its shape, its name, and its meanings. And what I would say is, don't just go to Pinterest or someone that gives you like not a few paragraphs, like a few sentences about the runes, because each of the runes is an energetic gateway. If you consider that the runes are the structure from which language is made, all of the Northern European languages are descended from, English, German, or Scandinavian language, Faroese, for example, all come from this root, Proto-Germanic, and the runes are made of them. So they hold language within them. So anything that can be spoken or thought of, or has not yet been made into word yet, but is available for us to make into word, the runes hold them. They also connect us back with nature. Most of them are associated with natural phenomena. So they bring us back into the reality, let's say, but it's the big reality, not just the physical reality, the big reality. That's their job. So we can't just say, let's have a look here. We can't just say, right, Suelo is Suelo. Suelo is the rune of the sun and we're done. No, there's a lot more to it than that. There are ancient stories associated with the rune. There are energies that are associated with the rune that when you know your runes, you will be able to identify, you'll be able to say, well, that feels like Suelo. I know now that flowing energy and that slightly mischievous energy and that going for it energy, all of these things associated with Suelo. So you want to look for, excuse me, you want to look for a substantive source of knowledge. Now, of course, I've had my website up, www.meganrose.com. Com's been up and since 2010. And it is full of what I hope are really helpful and useful resources for you. And by no means the only teacher out there, but that might be where you want to start. And when you want to go deeper, you can use my Sun Rune Awakening packages to do that. You start off, you're going to do your research. You want to look at the rune poems associated with your rune, sort of ancient rune poems. You're going to want to look at the meanings and the concepts associated with each of the runes. You can also find, once you know what its name is, you can start to chant it to work with Geldra, as it's known, which is like spoken spells. To work with the rune and to chant it and get to go know it that way. You can work with it in the body. You can work with it through meditation to feel where it is in your body. You can work with it through correspondences. So each of the runes has crystals associated with it, plants associated with it that you can work with. So you can start your research. And one of the ways that I really like to start then working with a rune is, the way that I started with my Sun Rune is to wear it. So you can wear it as a pendant. You can carry it with you in your shoe. You can draw it on your body, whatever works for you. And you can start by just wearing the rune, getting to know its shape, getting to know its name, getting to know its stories. But then there will come a point where you want to charge your rune up. And you can do that by feeling the energy of the rune in your body, by drawing it down or up. So for example, my Sun Rune is Largus. So I work with the Largus energy, and because Largus means water, I work with water sources and I draw in the energy of water in order to charge my Largus rune. I see the colors of water. I might see a powerful waterfall type energy, or I might see a still pool, depending on what I want to work with. So you can charge your rune. You can use the name of the rune. You can whisper it, or you can sing it and you can chant it, and you can charge up your rune and you can start to wear it and bring it in. You can also start to work, you can create the shape of the rune with your body. So with the Largus rune, for example, I do my practice in the shower in the morning, because I'm in the shower, it's water, it's very convenient for me, is I create 2 shapes with the Largus rune. So I do one with my arms in front of me. Hold on, this is not helpful for you if you haven't seen the shape of the rune first. Bear with me, here we go. There's our Largus rune here. It's the shape of the Largus rune. You can see that's the modern L is still within there. It's just the wrong way up and a bit wonky, but there you go, it's still there. So you can make the shape of the rune with the hands out in front like this for Largus, and then chant the name of the rune, or with the hands behind as well. I do both. I find that it's really nice to use my shower, and then I feel the energy cleansing and washing away. And I was talking about using your Sun Rune as a cleanser. So I literally see the energy coming down out of my fingers and out of the soles of my feet. And then when I have it behind, my palms are receiving, they're faced up. I face up, so they're receiving. So that I'm receiving the energy of Largus. It's pooling in my hands, and then I can draw it into myself. So each of the runes you can work with in very unique ways. Let's do another one here. So we've got the Ingu's rune here, the rune of the seed. Now that one is really useful to use a hand symbol. So you can see you can make the diamond with your hand. Now, Ingu's has 2 shapes. So it can also be like a helix shape there, and you can place it on the body wherever it is that you need that cleansing, like on the belly there. You can chant the rune there and actually allow the seed to either take whatever's not yours from you and it flows out of the rune, or to receive the energy in. Right? So that's a really lovely way of working with your Ingu's rune. So that practice, by the way, is often referred to as Stad Galdra, which means standing spell. So I mentioned that Galdra, it's like spoken, it's using the sounds of the runes. Stad Galdra is using the body. You might hear people talk about rune mudras. Now, I tend to now speak about embodied practice with the runes. And the reason for that is because mudras comes from a different cultural root to the runes. It seems a bit mean to steal someone else's term. And Stad Galdra, in my understanding, is that it's a relatively modern term created during the the Second World War in Germany, and some people can find that a bit difficult. It's a little bit problematic where the term came from. So I tend to use embodied rune practice. But if you've heard those terms, that's what they essentially mean: making the shapes of the runes with your body. So you can do all of that to really start to invite in the energy of the rune. Now, before I go any further, I wanted to mention that for some of you, you may find out what your sun rune is and go, oh, I'm not sure if I like that one very much. So let's have an example here. I've got a couple of examples. So the North is rune is the rune of need, the rune of and the rune of necessity. And it's probably the rune that people contact me the most to say, oh, I got the North's rune and I don't know how I feel about it because it means need and necessity. It makes me think about like the dark night of the soul. Here's our North's rune here. You know, it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable. I'm not sure if I want it. Now, some of the runes, like the Largo's rune, you can say, you know, it's water. Now, all of the runes have a positive and negative associations. They're not bad or good. They're energetic forces that bring everything in. So that the Largo's rune can be a deep stagnant pool, or it can be a fast running water. It's a gateway between life and death as well. But you might not see that on the face of it. You might go, oh, water, you know, it's a nice healing energy. Whereas Northers, you might say need or necessity. That sounds a bit meh. But it relates to the need fire. So this is like the two sticks being rubbed together to create the friction of fire, to light the need fire in the darkness. And what it does is people who have a sun rune in Northers are very, very instinctive. They are very connected to their own bodies, knowing about what's right for them, what's wrong for them, what they want to do, what they don't want to do, what they should eat, what they shouldn't eat. They're very sensual and they trust their bodies. And what the North's rune does is it says no. It goes, no, you don't need that. You don't need it. And when we keep in that zone of like doing things that we don't need that aren't good for us, then the North's rune can feel uncomfortable. When we are totally in the zone of doing things that are good for us, then it is the fire that has been lit in the darkness. And it's, you know, I know a lot of North's souls who are fabulous individuals, very powerful, very strong, when they are operating in alignment with their truth, which is all about this soul essence piece. So I wanted to bring those in. So if we think about the body, we've talked about the Ingu's rune and making the shape, and we can do that with all of these runes to create those shapes. Another one that I wanted to mention, because it can be a bit of a challenger rune for people, is the Thurisaz rune. So we've got a Thurisaz rune, which means thorn or giant. And again, people will go, what does that mean? Thurisaz people can be very, very passionate, and that can come across as angry passionate as well as loving passionate. You often get Thurisaz people who are advocating for what's right in the world, and it can feel like they've got a lot of anger in them, because they do. But the reason they've got the anger in them is because they care. Thurisaz embraces all of the emotions. It embraces that knowing, and it makes stuff happen. So with your Thurisaz rune, what you can do is you can say, okay, if I'm feeling a lot of anger, whether you're a Thurisaz soul or not, bear in mind that they're all of the healing energies, but if Thurisaz is your sun rune, then this is going to be particularly important for you. Is you can say, okay, so at the moment I'm feeling a lot of like energetic armor, you know, stuff that's there. It's been, I have to be out there in the world. I have to be angry. I have to be tough all of the time. And that can be damaging for us in the long run. We don't want to walk around with a big thorn, you know, like a big thorn hedge. Have you ever met anyone who's like, oh, they're just really spiky? You need to process that Thurisaz energy and allow it through. So what you can do with your hand gestures, with your mudras, is you can make the Thurisaz rune like this. Your hands in, put it over the heart center, chant your Thurisaz, and you start off releasing all of the, so it's sort of like a black, dark thorn energy, releasing that out. And then you start to draw in the more golden, red, pink, passionate energy of love that is sitting underneath. It's like the berry or the flower that is protected by the Thurisaz rune. And Thurisaz is both. This is why it's very important with our to work with our sun runes, because they're so helpful for us in, as I said, in doing that regular clearing and cleansing and saying, oh, what reason I'm feeling like this is because the world is impacting on me. And if I don't clear it out again, I can't stand in my truth. I can't stand in my own power with this. And that's why we work with our sun runes. So once we've initiated these practices and we started working particularly with story, with sacred stories associated with the runes, we will find that the runes stop becoming just sort of energetic healing forces for us, and they become guides. We start to see landscapes associated with them. We start to develop what I refer to as our own individual kenning hordes. So kenning means knowing or knowledge. Remember the Kenaz rune that I showed you? This comes from the kenning, as a Kenaz within it, the knowledge of Kenaz, Kenaz, the rune of creativity, the rune of knowledge, the rune of enlightenment. And so we receive knowledge about the runes from teachers that we trust. I am by no means the only one. Find the teachers that you trust. And then at some point, that knowledge will sit inside you. And then it will start to bring nuances. It will start to act as a guide. You'll start to work with your rune as a soul guide, because it will then offer for you knowings that are nuanced and specific to you. It's worth bearing in mind. Once you get to that point, I'd hope that you start to be working with other runes as well, and you'd get to know your other 13 birth runes, because they weave together to form your own individual, tapestry of guidance, like a spiritual cloak you can place around yourself to stand in your fullest power. But let's start with your sun rune. Okay, so I said that I would tell you how you can get to know what your sun rune is and what the next steps are. So let me just share my screen with you. Here we can see. So you can go to www.meganrose.com/runes/birth-runes. You can also find it on the website. If you go to explore the runes up here, you can find this page. And it's called Runic Astrology and Birth Runes. And you can come down here and it tells you a little bit more about all 14 of your birth runes. It tells you what each one is for. And then you can come down here and you can go to My Sun Rune. So Awakening Packages, My Sun Rune. And what that will take you to is it'll take you to a page which gives you the normal, like the core dates for each of the sun runes. It is similar to the zodiac, that there are core dates that were calculated when Nigel Pennick, on whose work my work is founded, calculated the movement of the sun through the runic wheel in a particular year, and he gave those dates. And so we've got the main dates there. Now, for some of you, you will fall on what is called a cusp or a transition point between two runes. And if that's the case for you, then we offer the My Sun Rune package so that we can calculate your sun rune for you. You will also find further down, you can scroll further down, and I give you the way that you can calculate it for yourself. If you're not a maths person, you can just select the My Sun Rune package and we will calculate it for you. We will send you your awakening package for your rune. But if you do know what your dates are, then you can come down and you'll find here, you'll see sun rune in Feu, and this gives you the core dates. Now, broadly speaking, the transitions they can be about sort of 3 days apart either way. So if you're born on June the 27th, 28th, 29th, then you might want to have your sun rune calculated for you before saying, yes, my sun rune is definitely in Feu. If you're on 1st of July, 2nd of July, 3rd of July, then it's like, yes, that's going to be my sun rune in Feu. So there is a package here for all of the runes, and you will find in that package, in each package there, you will find the rune poems, the standard meanings of the rune poems, how the modern meanings came into being, how those kenning hoards were created. You will have a suite of spoken stories about the runes. So these are stories that have been taken either from Northern tradition, myth and legend, sometimes from fairy tales that resonate, and sometimes they were channeled stories as well, and they're woven together into your story session. You will have your power song for your rune. So this is a chanted power song for you to listen to so that you can feel the energy of the rune, and you will have a meditation that helps you to feel where the rune is in your body. So you'll have all of those alongside your correspondences, so you can look at, okay, which crystals, which parts work for me, so that you can really get to know your sun rune. So that is how you get started with your practice. Okay, so there you go, your sun rune packages. So I hope that this has been helpful for you as an overview of starting to work with the self-healing with your sun rune. Any questions, you can email talk@meganrose.com. I'll be happy to answer those questions. So get in touch. Tell me how you are traveling with your sun rune, and yeah, what lovely healing it has to offer for you.